This Rise and Shine podcast series has been made possible by the generosity of the Zeidelman Family Foundation, which is committed to the unity and continuity of the Jewish people through meaningful and relevant Jewish education and wisdom.
I learned to be still, to be in the moment. It was a revelation that my power lies not in my efforts alone, but in my connection to the ultimate power, that I am a soul.
This is Rise and Shine, a podcast that offers timeless wisdom and uplifting meditations to fill your heart, feed your soul, and start your day on a positive note. Here is Adrienne Gold Davis.
No matter how old I get, and I have gotten pretty darned old, summer arrives and I still somehow expect to get the next 2 months off for holidays. So I remember that feeling of liberation and relief as another summer of freedom was on the horizon. School's out. I'm not going to get tested. I'm not getting assignments. Then not having to get up early in the morning. And every single year, for the past 40 years, I am galled that as an adult doing this adulting thing, that the tests continue, and that the assignments continue, and that the early morning wake-up is now a feature of my postmenopausal self anyway. It can't be just me that sometimes longs for those days of fun in the sun, for those carefree moments of imagination and adventure. How can it be true that adulthood affords me no time off, even on vacation? As a mother, one learns to sleep with one ear open, and there's always something demanding our time and attention. And as a woman with grown children, I can promise you that an empty nest does not change that scenario one single bit. And yet, in Jewish life, there is the opportunity of an endless summer that lasts 1 day a week. And that day helps make the other 6 days not just bearable, but more productive, more enriching, more mindful. And that day, my friends, is called Shabbat. Shabbat was a gift given to the children of Israel and ultimately the world post the Jewish people's slavery in Egypt. It was a gift, a present of allowing us to be present, to not be enslaved to work or even to time, to sanctify time. And it's one of the 10 Commandments. It is a pre-union insurance of the acknowledgement that we're human beings, not just human doings. And while some people see it as a day of you cannot, I actually see it as a day of I get to not have to. It's my weekly summer break, and it's my favorite day of the week. So the idea of keeping and guarding the Sabbath is a way of ceasing creation to remember that we are not the creator, of remembering that we have a creator. And in this 24/7, 24-hour-a-day world, this gift is a gift that keeps on giving, especially today as a society that lives on FOMO. What's FOMO, you ask? Well, it means fear of missing out. So this short and pithy acronym sums up in 4 letters the part of the human being that chases after absolute control and suffers profound anxiety knowing they will simply never accomplish it. It's exasperated and it's encouraged through relentless social media, through Facebook and Instagram and TikTok as we relentlessly stroll and troll and scroll the lives of others, consciously and unconsciously comparing and measuring our lives to the lives of others, of our kids to the kids of others, of our selfies to the selfies of others. And while social media doesn't cause narcissism, it certainly can help flip the switch of those tendencies that are latent inside of us, especially those of us who suffer FOMO by nature. When I was a young girl, I constantly worried that I'd miss something, anything, that would change the tone and the balance of my carefully curated life. In our family, kids came in for the night when the lights went on the street. Many of my neighborhood friends could stay out even later than that. And I remember, like it was yesterday, sitting in my room fretting over the potential new allegiances that would be formed without me. The stories and the games and the fun that I would not be privy to. And the terror that things would be not as I left them, and that the next day would begin, leaving me in the dark. This sense followed me through my teens as well. Whatever party I attended, whomever I was speaking with, my eyes would wander restlessly to see what else was happening, who else was there. It was as though I had internalized that whatever I was engaged in could not possibly be where the action was. That I was missing something that could only happen if I were not there. And this unease continued even into my dating life and well into my 20s. You see, there was no me without my agitating the universe, my scrambling and hustling for worthiness. So imagine my terror when many years later I learned about Shabbat. No phone, no computer, no car, no shopping, no way. What possible benefit could there be in living in a 24/6 world when we live actually in a 24/7 world? And what if someone needed to reach me? And how would I fill those gaping 24 hours? I didn't know how to be. I didn't know who to be. And in that struggle came the deep epiphany that radically changed not just my world, but my psyche as well. I was 40 when I started to keep Shabbat, married with 2 children, deep into my career. Nevertheless, I was determined to do this. And while the anxiety clung in the initial stages of disconnecting in order to connect, it was less than a year before I began to understand something that had eluded me my entire life. You see, folks, apparently the world turned and ran quite nicely without my help. That the control I was seeking could actually be found by relinquishing control. You know, the sages tell it straight when they say, "Who is rich? He who rejoices in his lot." So I learned to be still, to rejoice in my lot, to be in the moment, and I felt rich. To replace that busy attempt to control and manipulate creation and just simply to be reveling in it. Shabbat forced me to stop trying to play God by stopping long enough to recognize that God does just fine without me. That letting go and letting God gave me the freedom to see myself as having value and purpose and even joy, not in productivity, but in simply being. You know, years of therapy couldn't give me what 25 hours a week could. It was a revelation that my power lies not in my efforts alone, but in my connection to the ultimate power, that I am a soul. Over 20 years have passed since the therapeutic benefits of Shabbat have liberated me and given me the perspective and clarity about what it means to be a human being. And the pleasure of that far outweighs any pleasures I chased in my purely physical existence. My ability to be present, oh, it was a present. I never anticipated it, but wow, was it ever psychologically liberating. Shabbat was given to us as a gift that many of us never take the time to unwrap. What I didn't understand was that ceasing to create in order to acknowledge there's a creator would give me more creativity, more strength, and more joy. And that annoying FOMO? Well, now it has become JOMO, the joy of missing out. So summer may not be the same for us today as it was when we were school kids, but Shabbat can make an endless summer once a week for the rest of our lives. This week, can you consider what it would look like to let go and let God? Can you take the gift of Shabbat and present it to your family in a way that speaks to you and to those you love? it's not all or nothing at all. But take that step and enjoy the weekly gift of an endless summer for 25 hours a week.
Thanks for listening to Rise and Shine. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Momentum Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Join Adrienne again next time for more timeless wisdom and uplifting meditations that fill your heart, feed your soul, and start your day on a positive note.
This podcast was sponsored by the Zeidelman Family Foundation. Spread the wisdom. Inspire Jewish individuals around the globe by supporting Momentum's podcasts. To sponsor, contact podcast@momentumunlimited.org. You're listening to a Momentum podcast. For unlimited inspiration, wisdom, and empowerment, visit momentumunlimited.org.